Welcome to the 50th anniversary of the Helsinki Comic Festival, an event in which Spain is the guest country. First, as all, I want to thank to the help and support provided by the Finnish Comic Society, the Spanish Embassy in Finland, and the Foundation for the Promotion and Study of Narrative in Image. Thanks to the support and dedication of all of the people involved, it has been possible to make this a reality. Today we meet with Lorena Azpiri. She's many things, but in that case, she's an illustrator with a degree in fine art. And who I read exactly the CV she sent me. Who defines herself like a freak by a vocation.
No, not freak.
No.
Sorry to catch you there. But freak in English is like es
Yes, I
como
know.
sexualmente desviado. Sería, aquí lo llamamos friki, pero sería como geek o
Yes,
nerd.
but for me, I am very proud to be a freak.
Yeah,
And
but
I
es que
suppose,
freak
yes,
in English means sexual deviant.
I know, no, exactly. Freak in English is something, some bizarre creature. If you take freak from the Todd Browning movie, freak is something horrible.
Freak is nothing. It's not what I was trying to say. Is what I mean. I would try to say like that. I said freaky because I was doing it in Spanish, but I would translate it to geek or nerd.
Yes, well,
because the otherwise could be like like sexual deviant or monster.
No, I know, but nevertheless, there are no problem it's necessary to change or to explain exactly what is why you choose some word like this. You winner of the Revelation Artist Award in the ImaginaMálaga 2011. And it's true because I study your work. You are capable to change your register without any problems. You are the author of cover of several retro style video games, something you know because someone in your home did this in the beginning. And you are the winner of the award from the best cover in Amstrad Eterno. That's really nice. For the new generation, Amstrad was one of the first company that published video games I think was between the 70s and the 80s, especially in the 80s. With before PlayStation, before Nintendo's, before Xbox and everything they are Astra. You draw illustration from magazine, from books, children books, from comics, and from many other things, and from board games. And you work with your sister Diana in that case, Diana in English. She wrote the text and you draw the image. It's great when you find someone that you understand very well. Trust me.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I know because in all this decade, time to time I found someone that understand my strength for thinking. And when you find someone like this person is amazing because you don't need to explain too much. You have one idea, you put over the table, you say a few things, and the other person know how to interpret your crazy ideas and do something much better. It's really nice. And now you are working for a video game from Studio Mansion Games and the creation of the game Operation Hype Jam, The Fall of Berlin. Wow! When when you send me the information, I go to the web page to see, and wow, look really nice.
Yeah, it has very nice art. No, but I had to work hard.
No, but it's one thing I really like is. Oh, you born in 1985. You are not a teenager anymore, but even you have these big eyes, like with the same. You have exactly the big eye like a toddler. I really like. I say because I have a 2 years old boy, and when I come to his school, I like to see the eyes of the small kid, and you have the same eye, big, very big, and I know because I told with you before. I see everything. I try to see everything. I try to learn everything, and it's really nice. But 25 years ago, 20, 25 years ago, no, 50 years ago, 25 years ago, I don't believe there are many women working in the video game industry, and even to design things like video games. And it's really nice. I told before, I don't want to do, I don't want to support this meeting in the figure of your father. Your father is Alfonso Azpiri, one of the most, not only one of the most great comic book and illustrator from Spain, was this person that understand the future before the future was in front of him. He began to do things. He began to design things from movies. He began to design cover from video games before that, before the 21st century, when anyone do. That's the thing. Anyone did this before. And but it's really great that you do the things you do because you are a 21st century woman and you have the possibility to do things that in the 20th century was not possible or was so difficult to do. And I really like your style. But
thank you.
yes, because it's a totally opposite way like your father too, and I really enjoy. But why you choose this? Why you choose your topics? Because I in the exhibition I prepared to, on in the web page and the exhibition I prepare about all the artists invited in this event. I show your job, and it's every of your illustration is to make a big poster and put in the wall. It's really amazing because you keep every detail, even in a small scale, in the computer, in the screen. No, when you print in the screen, even if you have a big screen, it's not the same. And when you put your illustration, you keep every detail. But what is your main? Why do you choose to draw fairies and creatures from the forest and all these things that, for example, the people that attend this event and see the virtual exhibition have the opportunity to see?
I've always been a big fan of fantasy since when I was a little girl. I got that from living with my dad. We have a lot of comic books, a lot of movies, and I really enjoy fantasy. And we spend the summers and the weekends in this small town, which is the town that I'm currently living, and it's in the mountains. And we always went to the mountain, to the forest, to spend the day or have lunch there or take walks. And it's something that I did as a child, and it stood with me. The love for nature and the appreciation for nature. Um, I really like to take long walks by myself and just look at the trees and how the seasons change. And I guess that's the main inspiration. Is just a mixture, a mix with that fantasy that I grew up with and that contact with nature that I also grew with.
Uh, from the, if you know something about Finland, in Finland there are a few towns, and in the middle there are trees and lakes. Something when you arrive in Finland, because when you arrive in Helsinki, in Vantaa airport, you need to turn around and you see Vantaa is outside Helsinki. It's part of
Well,
this area.
here's more where I live is more kind of like a hostile nature, or so to speak. It's more pine cones and I don't know, very mountainy. So it's not that soft nature. A lot of sticks, a lot of
No,
haze.
the thing is here
I like it. I like the smell of it, and I don't know. I have the feeling that it's very different than
no,
there.
it's different, but here you don't need to walk too much to find a forest, because there are forests wherever you see. Near to my home, I live in Helsinki, but not exactly in the center. And near to my home, there are forests. I don't need. I need to walk 5 minutes, and you see Helsinki when you arrive in the plane. You see a few things, a few buildings, a few places, and the rest is forest, and it's normal. But In Spain, depend where do you live, but there in Spain there are, for many reasons that is quite long to explain, there are not too many tradition to make this kind of things. And you, I suppose, because you live with someone with a big imagination, but nevertheless, was easy or was hard to do the things you like when you are smaller, when you are a teenager? Because I don't know when, if I don't know, it's something I want to ask you. When someone asks to you, what do you want to do? I want to draw, and I want to draw fairies. If you do this kind, what your friend think about your ideas? Because
Well, I don't know. I don't draw just fairies. I draw a lot of things. I draw warriors. I draw mermaids. I draw whatever I'm hired to draw because I have a board game with it's a zombie. It's a zombie game. So I make monsters and I make just about whatever. Like if the fact is, I like drawing like those creatures from of the forest, but not all the time. I cannot stick too long for with the same thing. I like to change styles. I like to change moods, and I like to change topics. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's what I draw the most. Maybe it's too because I've illustrated a lot of children's books,
mm-hmm,
and you have a lot of fantasy and fairy-like creatures there, like tales and stuff.
mm-hmm.
So that's a subject that I've been doing a lot, but I wouldn't say like when I first said like I'm gonna be an illustrator, I wanted to be an illustrator, not a fairy illustrator.
Mm-hmm. And it's change to one topic to art is easy or is difficult?
What is?
For example, you do one children books about fairies, and the next book is
Oh,
about
changing.
Paris,
Oh,
and the
changing the
next is about
style.
this.
Okay, okay.
Because I know that you like to change, and you do for example a cover from a video game, so a video game like a war video game, because the Operation High Jump is a war video games.
Mm-hmm.
It's for you is easy, it's difficult, or you need to change the topic because it's not in one moment you are tired to do always the same.
Yeah, I like to change. Like now that I'm working on the studio, obviously I cannot change that much, but I still have I can draw on my free time, and I choose the topic. I do whatever is more relaxing or feels more like something that I do just for the fun of it, or not because I have to, or because somebody's asking me to do things specifically. Because when you're working on a project, especially if it's a project that involves a lot of people, you are all in the same boat. You all are have to you have to communicate, and you have to do the similar style, and it's a lot of fun too. Like you can have a lot of fun and you can learn a lot of
Mhm.
things. And then when I leave my job, when I in my free time, I just draw whatever I like to. And I don't know, hard or easy. Not hard, not too hard, not easy either. Like it's not a big problem. Change the mood or change the tone. Um, but yeah, it can be a bit confusing. I try not to mix them too much. Like I have a couple of projects that I work in. I like them to be kind of like the same mood or the same tone, so I don't have to reset my head every time that I'm gonna work a few hours in one or the other. But it's not a big problem. No, I wouldn't
No,
say
no,
that.
it's I want to know because when you read not only your CV, when you see your job, you change. You it's clear that there are some topics that you like much more than the other because every creator have some topic that really like and some topic you need to do for many reasons, not only
Yeah, and the story too. Like I like, especially with my sisters, because when I work with my sister, I have a lot of freedom because and we grew up in the same home, and we have a very similar way to see things. So when we are making when we are doing a children's book that is more like funny, it's a fun little book, then I try the tone to represent that. So I have very colorful illustrations and very basic shapes. And then when we are doing a fairy tale that is a bit not dark, but darker, let's say darker, not darker like grim or something, but darker. I like to reflect that in the illustrations too. So even if I have kind of like a way to do things, I like to play with the different styles in drawing and different tones in color. So I reflect the mood of whatever I'm working on because it's not the same. Like we have this tale that is the tower, and it's a funny little story. And it's very light and it has a lot of humor in it. I'm not gonna use those same drawings for something like Sombra or Shadow, which is another tale about a creature from the darkness. I cannot, like, it wouldn't fit. So I have to change it, and that's fine. I like it.
I suppose if you have someone like your father in your home is a big influence in one way or even if you sit down to read something he draw. I understand now, but if you need to think what are your big influence like artists, uh, apart from your father, do you have any artist or a group of artists you really like and you in some way you use like inspiration, or you know how to use the tools, you know how to use the pencil, you know how to use the paper, and when you want to draw something or someone asks to you to do something, you create without any specific influence or any specific image in your mind?
No, I like to use references, and what I use for references, well, like back in the day, I used to read a lot of comic books, so I look a lot to artists like Simon Bisley or my Mignola, which are the illustrations that I followed back then. But I always like the animation. I always like animation. I love animation. I love animated movies, and from I don't know, at a certain point, my dad started collecting concept art books,
Mm.
like the making of a lot of Pixar and DreamWorks and a lot of movies. And that's what I use for reference the most. Because it's really great because you need to draw a place that is covered in snow. Then I get my Frozen book and I have a lot of references about how to treat snow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I use the most for references.
No, no, it's the thing is when I heard to you, and it's great because it's understand me. Uh, there are different between men and women's, but the difference between men and women's in our country are different that in Finland because the how the country work in that area is totally different. We have prime minister, and anyone think about to have a female prime minister in Spain actually, and I don't know in the future. And unfortunately, the example of female leader in Spain are not exactly the best. But it's really nice to talk with someone that have this reference, this background, and have an approach one topic without any uh, problem. And you talk like a professional. You are a woman, but you talk like a professional in that area. Uh, illustration, comic book, or video game design? What do you prefer?
I don't want to choose, honestly. Like, I have fun with all of them. Making video games is a lot of fun too. I'm just starting, but I'm having a lot of fun. And you 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 are working with other people, and you have a chance to learn from them and to try other things that you wouldn't do. I like illustration too because you have to say something in an illustration. You are telling a story or part of a story in your illustration, and that's a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't like to choose. I want it all.
And you, because you work with, you put that you have a really good relation with your sister, and you like to work with her. You don't think about to make some own comic book, some album like your father did during, I don't know, maybe 45 years or something like that, because your father career was so huge that I think a normal person needs 3 lives to do that your father did in only in one life. But forget something, you don't have the, I suppose you have ideas. And if you have is someone from some big Spanish editorial like Norma Editorial or even Panini have a section, Norma, Panini, Astiberri, one of the biggest Spanish editorial or one editorial from France or from United States offer the possibility to do whatever you want. You have some ideas that it's possible to translate to a 42-page album or something like that, or
No, I don't know. I have some ideas here and there, but I'm not a writer, and I don't even know if they're good or not. But talking with my sister, we always said that we wanted to do like a big graphic novel. That will be a lot of fun, but that's a lot of work, and life takes time.
yes,
And my
unfortunately.
sister is not. She writes and she writes really well, but she's not a writer. She has her job and she has her family, and everything gets complicated. I would love to, but yeah, it's a lot of work.
No,
I'm interested in narrative. Like I really like cinema, and the thing that I would like the most of making a comic book or drawing a comic book is try to tell the story just with drawings, like trying to do it like even before putting any text, just draw a page and try to see if you are telling the story that you want to tell, even without the text. You can read what is happening there and you can understand it, and you are communicated not just the story but things like characters and lore or things that happened before. I don't know, all the information that you can put there, how you communicate it to your reader. That would be a cool talent. I would really, really like that
and
because I
worrying,
like it.
sorry, do something like your father did in 1984 when he designed the characters and the spaceships and things like that from the, I think the in English is the Space Knight. No, the Dragon Knight. In Spanish was el Caballero del Dragón, but I think in the name that someone put in English was the Dragon Knight, a movie with Fernando Rey, Harvey Keitel, Klaus Kinski, Maria Lamor, and Miguel Bosé. That one of the first fantasy movie made in Spain during the 80s, and one of the 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 days I have the opportunity to talk with her father about him, he told me about this, and he was so sad because all his design is, he don't have probably anything. Eh, eh, Someone keep and in one moment destroy. Don't keep. Now it's really difficult to find any of this original design. But I remember to talk with him and saw something, and the design of the dress from he that Miguel Bosé used, and the strange spaceship that he pilot. Do you want to work inside the movie industry to design characters, to do the storyboard, or be a concept artist, or
I would love to. I really like concept art, but I think right now I'm doing this and I'm working on video games. Like, and yeah, as a fantasy, I would like to do. Yeah, I would like to do a lot of things, but I don't think I have time to do everything. And I'm gonna stick with one thing at a time and learn one thing at a time, because now I'm working on video games and you have to make the files in a certain way. You have to do everything in a certain way. You have to learn how to do the technical parts and all stuff. So yeah, one thing at a time.
the first time we talked about your career and many things, we talk about the situation of the Spanish market. No, the situation in the global situation, but you are from Spain and you work not only from Spain, but you work in Spain. Uh, Here in Finland, there are a big tradition for the illustrator because they are not only they translate books from wherever, from Spain, from United Kingdom, from France, from wherever. They are a long tradition. I think I told with one of your colleagues, with Alicia Warhola. She's a illustrator and comic book artist. Is how she described. Um, Not the beginning, but it's clear that Tove Jansson, the creator of Moomin, was that point when the situation changed, and because Moomin is in the beginning was a comic strip, and after that was a comic strip, an illustration, a book, a kid books, and many things. And in from the last, I think, 50 years, to be an illustrator in Finland is I don't know, a really good job, but many people understand that it's important to combine the text and image. But how is the situation in Spain if you want to be an illustrator? Because I want my approach from this event is to show not only the job of the guest, to show to the Finnish people how is the situation of the Spanish market. And you are the person that you are an author, I am an author, but you do the things in one way. You use image, I use letters, and it's a different. It's the same market, but it's a different target. But in your case, what is your opinion about the situation? You believe is? I know the situation is not good, especially after the pandemic. But before the pandemic, how was how was to be an illustrator in Spain?
Very hard. That's my experience. That's my opinion. Um, a lot of people don't seem to take you seriously. The people who take you seriously don't seem to have, they want to pay you more, but don't seem to have the money to pay you more. And yeah, I don't know. To me, my experience, it's been very hard. Like I was about to quit because after this couple of years went from hard to really, really bad for me, at least. That's my experience. It's my opinion, it's my experience. I don't know.
No, no.
Maybe for other people is great, but no, that was not my case. And yeah, I was about to quit. I was about to do something else because I couldn't do it. Like work, you have to work with projects. So you never know how much money you are going to make next month. You are always looking for jobs. And if the job is not well paid and if your expenses are high, are like fixed every month, you have these expenses, but you don't know how much money you are going to make, that's a very hard life. And yeah, you get a lot of insulting offers and things like that. And you get mad. So yeah, I was about to quit. But then I started to work with in Mansion Games, so they kind of saved my life.
No, that's the thing. The thing is, you never know, especially how the situation. But this is something for me. When the first time I talked with you was not a shock, is because I know a little bit this market, but I understand how difficult it is to be a creator, an author in the real world. And do you believe that because it's something it's something was Alicia said in her meeting that the social media is a good tool, but sometimes is too much because there are people that spend too much time try to find more followers than do something because
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what you do because if you do prints and t-shirts and things like that, it can be a very good tool, an interesting tool to make it easy for people to see your work. It doesn't like you get work through social media. Like I have to like I have social media. I wouldn't if it wasn't because of I need it for my work because I don't really like it. I don't really like it. Spending time there, and I don't really like when you are. sometimes I drawing, and maybe I find myself thinking about what is the social media going to like, and not what I want to draw. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like that at all, because you don't really know what people are going to like. You are really making offers to the algorithm.
Exactly.
Whatever
It's
how it
exactly the same
works.
thing that Alicia said in her meeting. If you think about, you fight against something that is not even human. It's a tool to promotes, in that case, social media, but you don't fight against someone like you. And if you don't understand this fast, at last you fight against someone that always win. And for example, I like how when you put, for example, when you put something in Facebook, you put the image and you try to write something. It's like when I talk with you, for example, you do something that normally not many authors do. Is when I told you and say I need image, some illustration from make an exhibition, and please put the name of the technique or whatever. No, you put the name, put something, how you do, and you write a few sentences about. And this is not normal, because sometimes the people, the authors, the creator, whatever you want to name it, send to you their job, but don't put anything. And you are not only a good professional, because for me it's much better when I have this material, because it's for me is the best way to understand much better your job. It's because you, when someone read this, uh, understand you are very proud of your job. Even the situation is not the best. I know before I talk with you, because I am a creator too in Spain, and everyone believes that the thing you do and the thing I do is quite easy to do. But my question is always the same: why not everyone draw, write, do things like you and me? Because
Because they
it's
don't.
so easy.
It's just because they don't put the time. Like, I think you get better at. We can talk about you are born with a talent or not. Maybe it has something to do with it. But I assured you that if I start, I don't play the guitar. But if I start playing the guitar 2 hours a day, I'm gonna end up kind of playing the guitar. I'm gonna be able to do something. The thing is that what you really, it's not that you like something and then you get good of it just because you like it. It's because you like it, you start to spending a lot of time doing it. And the more you do it, the better you are. And that's how you end up doing something like this. You start drawing when you are a kid and you don't stop. Most people stop. Like, if I ask someone random in the street to draw me something and they haven't drawn something since they were 10, they're gonna do a drawing like a 10-year-old, kind of, because they stop drawing. But if you don't stop and just keep at it, then you can, I don't know, depends on the time you put. And yeah, we can talk about talent and stuff, but you're gonna be able to draw.
No, but you need to have a good discipline, and you need to understand. I talk with our authors
Yeah,
during
that's what I'm saying, that it has to be something that you like, because that's the only way you're gonna spend your free time, like coming back
I know
from
it's
school and
true.
spending 3 times drawing. You really have to like it. And because you like it, you consume it, you see it, you look for it, you read books, you notice things in movies, and you make this visual library in your head that you use later. And it's just because you're spending time in that world.
But not everyone, don't everyone have this capacity, because I talk with a few, well, I think all the artists I met during this event, and everyone have the same approach. The good days you have only a few, but time to time, normally you have regulars, bad and horrible
Yeah, of
days.
course, but that's true for every profession, I think.
Yes, but in that case, in that area, there are more mechanical works.
No,
When
but I don't know. To me, it was drawing, but I guess some people can be baking or making clothes or whatever, and they can make it their job or just be a hobby, and they are very good at something. Like with plants, they are very good taking care of their plants. They don't kill them like I do. I don't know. And
No, but it's
everything
it's
can be kind of creative in a way.
it's a really, but your approach is really good because uh, I suppose you understand and you have in your mind that when you participate in that type of event, there are people from different age, and there are people with more older than have enough background and understand things that I understand that you say you put a really good example, but every job, especially when you need to create something, you need to focus all your energy because it's the only way to do something really good or something you're really proud of this. But there are new generation that have not the same background like us. And I understand it's good when someone explains the things in the way you do because there are someone in the audience like now the audience is virtual. You are staying your home. I stay at home, but someone sit down along with someone to hear our conversation. Um, it's probably there are kids and teenagers that sometimes they believe to be a create an author, an illustrator, whatever. And the thing you approach is realistic because you have background, you know what happened in the real world. But you say things that, hey, if you really like and you spend time and you focus your energy and you don't stop, I mean, it's true. There are many people that draw very well in the school, but one day decide to stop and don't do anything, don't do anymore. And that's the thing. Or someone begin to do much more later than other, but there are many people that are really good, but with something, but sometimes it's because it's the way of life. Sometimes they choose, sometimes there are different influence, but they start to do something that 10 years before they are really good. But you explain the things that in the best way possible because you know how the things work, how the machine work, but you explain in that case and say things that hey, you want to do something, if you want to be good in something, hey, focus in this. Do
Yeah,
not too
just
many things.
like not saying like then, and not maybe making it your profession because then you need a bunch of other things, or and you need a lot of luck and you need a lot of stuff. But something you like something and you want to be better at it, just put the time on it, and it will get you where it gets you. It can be your hobby, you can make it your profession, whatever. But if you like something, and just spend the time on it and get better at it. Either you cook or you make dolls or whatever you do, you know.
Whatever you want to do, that's the spirit. That is something I want to. Uh, if you, I don't want to, but it's there are some jobs that you are really really proud. Some books, some board games, some illustration, something you did the past, and when you actually you see in front of you and you really like and you do believe is one of the best things you do, or you understand that every moment in your life have different things, different approach, and you have the capacity to change
Oh no,
because
I think it's well. I'm talking about myself, but I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. I absolutely hate the old stuff that I made. I see every mistake and everything I did wrong. Not hating. Hating is a strong word, but I have my problems coming back to them because you can't avoid to think like I will have done this different, or oh my god, I put this color here. What was I thinking, or all that kind of stuff. And I think it happens kind of like to everybody, even people who you wouldn't believe it. Like even the best of the best, even the masters, they will look at their work from some years ago, and yeah,
yes, yes,
they might not be. But yeah, I'm also proud about the things. I understand that it's a process, and one thing that I really like to do is, and I have done this a couple of times in my social media, and I do that with my logo, which is, I'm saying logo because it's where is this girl that is a warrior that I have it in my website and my cards and everything, is just to use an image or something, because when I start drawing, I start drawing like women, warrior women, especially, and and I use that as a logo. And I did this with this logo. I took an illustration from 10 years ago and I remake it, and I change whatever I think it should be changed. I fix stuff, or I change the mood so I don't make it exactly the same, or I don't know. I like to play with that, and that's an exercise that I recommend to people who think they are not learning fast enough, because you don't learn. You think you're gonna learn like you're gonna go from nothing. You're gonna go like a steady speed and learning more and more. But it's not how it works. Like you learn until here, and then you can like stuck, and then you sometimes you feel like you are not moving, but you are. And that's something that I recommend to artists or the people who are beginning to draw and illustrate. Like, you think you are not you're not getting better at it, take an illustration from a couple of years ago and do it again, and then compare it. You'll see, and maybe you are surprised what you
No,
find.
it's true because when I it's something because it's from I enter in the foundation that promote this event in the beginning of this year, and when the president offered me the possibility to do the things I do and have my own space to write, I decided to begin to rewrite my article from the I think the last 3 4 years. And sometimes it's hard because I just read and say, "Hey, I wrote this. Why?" because
Yeah,
some, but
but I don't know. And there's also things that I'm proud of. There
no,
are some
but
work that I really
it's
like to
good to
look
do.
at. Like that, I have some illustration from all days, and some books and some board games, and I look at them and it's like, oh, this looks good. This looks
Yes, but that's
good.
the thing.
I
You
would have
it's,
done now. I would have done this. This looks good. This looks good,
exactly
and I'm proud of
that's
it.
my point.
I will not say which ones.
It's good to time to time. It's good to see your older jobs because it's when you learn the thing you explain. It's when you understand that you are a different author, and sometimes it's good you take your older jobs and redraw or rewrite because it's when you understand that you are not much better, but you are more secure or more professional than before. Because if you have the capacity to reinterpret your own job, is when you really know something about yourself. And from this, all this year for me is that I write new articles, but I rewrite a few articles, and sometimes it's only one page, sometimes it's two, three, four more page. But it's when I understand my approach is totally different. I have a I see the topic in a different way, like 3 4 5 years ago. And I think I recommend to. I know that in the beginning it's hard because you say it's impossible. I did this, but I think it's good that every author have this capacity put in front of. And this is something your father told me a few years, no, no, many years ago that from every author is necessary to visit the older jobs because it's when you understand that you are different in different way. You are afraid when you finish something and put in front of the market, you finish a book, you finish one design and whatever. You are afraid that the people what people believe about your job, or you know how the things work and you know that when you finish something and put in the market, you lose any control of your job.
But what you mean about control?
Uh, you draw something and you really like and you are very proud, but when this job, this illustration. For example, you do a book with your sister, and when the book's in the market, you don't have any control. Everyone have the opportunity to open, to see, to understand or not, and like or not. And now with the social media, it's possible that anyone take this book today, tomorrow, write something in Facebook about your job. You are afraid that how the people think about your job, or you know that you are an author and you work from someone and from the people, and the people have different opinion, sometimes good, sometimes not, and
Yeah,
sometimes
of course I'm afraid about that. I just try not to think about it. Otherwise I wouldn't do anything. Like I will be too scared. So yeah, I try not to think about it, and that's it.
good. No, I think this is the spirit. I don't know exactly uh, how the people think about, but I think this is spirit. I
Yeah,
think
you think too much about that, you're gonna get paralyzed by fear, and you're not gonna publish anything.
yes.
So yeah, you just have to accept that you're still scared, but it's what it is.
It's something you need to, if you want to create something and put in front of someone, it's something you need to learn fast.
Yeah, and you when you said, I guess what you mean with you lost control, it's like, yeah, people are gonna make their own interpretations of what you did, and that's how it is. Like when I watch a movie, I can find an interpretation, maybe it speaks to me in a way that was not intended by the author, and just stop controlling it.
How much time you spend when you draw some illustration? And you have, I explained, everyone have a different approach, different method to work. But for example, if someone ordered to you, I don't know, 5 illustration for a book, how much time you spend in to draw 5 illustration? If you understand me, if you when you receive the order, when someone asks to you, this person
Mm-hmm.
gives to you all the information that you request, because sometimes someone say, I want to do something about the space. What space? I don't know. In any planet? I don't know. Made
Yeah,
of
yeah,
any
no, I know
character.
what you mean. Mm-hmm.
So there are people that when request something, they give to you all the information that you need and probably much more. But the other person when order something or apply from something, they have one idea, but you need to interpret it and you need to find what is behind the idea. In the best case scenario, that someone apply from some illustration, some job, some creation from you, and provide to you any information available. How much time do you spend to write 4, 5, 6 illustration for a book?
I always try to give it like a couple of days at least for illustration, but that depends on the illustration. If they are very busy illustrations, I will need more. But I always try to give it a couple of days, because you always have to you make the sketch and you send it, and they have to respond and approve it or not. And some illustrations, sometimes one illustration, you are in the zone, and the illustration is speaking to you, and everything is perfect, and then the pencil flies and everything is magnificent, and you feel so great doing that illustration, and maybe the next illustration is just a pain in the butt, because nothing works, and you try 3 different sketches and they don't work, and you have to keep trying from the beginning, and yeah, it can become a nightmare. Sometimes that happens, and you don't really know which one is going to be. So I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, so I try to give a little time. And also because I was working for projects, I don't know, maybe you ordered these 5 illustrations for me, and then somebody else calls me and is like, hey, I need 1 or 2 illustrations, and it can be for the same deadline or the
Mm.
same date, or so I have to manage both. I'm gonna have to manage both, so I try to give a little extra time, because I have to take them, because maybe next month I have nothing. So if I have 1 month, that's
I know, I
that's
know.
a blessing. So
I think you don't need to explain too much how is to be an illustrator because you put the right example, and this is really is really nice. It's really hard, but it's really nice. Uh, I told before, well, in that case, when you do books, children books, and many other things in Spanish. I explained to you the first time we talking about that from the last, I think from the last decade, there are many, uh, I think teenagers and younger people that begin to learn Spanish in the school, in the high school, like the fourth language. Um, Not only English, Finnish, or Swedish. And now it's possible from the new generation that approach that the thing that was made in Spain. What one of the reason I decided to do this event was because now our language is not something that the Finnish people heard when they moved to Spain. It's something that is possible in some way to have here at home. And I know that my job is not self things. My job is to promote your job, that and in some way how why you do the things you do. But if you are in front of the audience, in some way you are in front of the audience. The difference is you don't stay in a physical place, you stay in your home, and this is through internet. But imagine you are in front of some audience and someone asks, why I need you to spend my money in something you make. What was your answer? How you sell your job to other person?
Selling my job, I don't know. I will be like, this is what I do. You like it, get it, take it. You don't. I don't know. How am I gonna sell? I don't know. I just said that I try not to think about algorithms and things like that too much, because otherwise I will collapse and maybe not enjoy what I do. So yeah, that will be kind of the same. How do I sell my job? I don't know. This is what I do, because my job is something that you can see. I don't have to explain it, and I can tell you about my way, the way I work. Like, okay, I do this. I give you the sketches. I never cross the deadline, the deadline or whatever. I can give you that information, but my job is something that is visual. I don't have to explain to you why you should buy it or not. It's there. You can see it. If you like it, you get it, and if not, there's nothing I can do. Why would I try to convince you? Like, it's there, you can see it. I don't. It's just there. It's something
No,
that you can actually totally see. So the moment you see it, you like it or not.
it's true, but the thing is, you need to believe in yourself because this is, and now
Yeah,
is
but
the
it's not
time.
about believing or not believing. It's just that, yeah, I don't have to, like, when we talk about this kind of stuff, maybe in other jobs it makes more sense. You have to sell yourself. You have to. But in my case, I can tell an editor, a publisher, whatever I want about how amazing I am and how my work is amazing and whatever I can think of. But the publisher is gonna see my job, my work. He's gonna look at my illustrations and he's gonna make a decision that is based on my illustrations more than whatever I can tell him, aside my work ethic or things like that.
Mhm. No, it's true, but in actually in the world we live, everyone try to sell air, not real things, and that's the thing. Is the last time I talked with your father say exactly the same thing you say.
Yeah, so I can tell you, well, Mira, look, I do this amazing illustration and I show to him and they don't find him amazing. Then what else can I say?
That
You
is true.
know,
That is true.
that's what it is.
Your father say, and we talk about Alfonso Williamson, one of the most amazing comic book artists. Alfonso Williamson was born in Colombia, His father was from United States and his mother from Colombia. And your father told me he had a comic street in his uh, space to work, and he told me that exactly the same. He explained me one time I stayed with Alfonso, and someone asked, and Alfonso and I say exactly the same. Hey, this is our job. You like good, you don't like, sorry, we don't know how to change. We try to improve. I always, your father
I
always.
appreciate any feedback. Like there's sometimes when you send something to a publisher and they are not interested, but they give you feedback. Like one of the few times they answered me last year, it was to say that they like my art, but they give me some tips about my portfolio, and I really really appreciate that.
Mhm.
Like you can say something like to that to an artist, like we are not taking this, we are not hiring you, but we like your things, or we don't like your things, but this is the things that we are looking for, or
Mhm.
this is the things that they will improve, especially if it's people who knows what they are talking about. And yeah, feedback is always appreciated.
Yes, but but at the last, your job is your best business card, especially because you
Yeah,
are
yeah, because it's a visual thing. You have it there. I cannot adorn it with beautiful
exactly.
words. Well, I can, but it's still the same.
It's not necessary to put 1,000 word uh, after your job. No, this is stupid, and I totally agree. But there are many people, especially the new generation, that they in some way bored with the social media. Sometimes you see something and the important part of the illustration is the text, and say, no, sorry, this is it's a different job. This is my job. Your job is to do something and show. If you want to explain something, good, but if you do not how to combine, at the last, it's not necessary to explain one the illustration. I hope that uh, and that I hope that you like my job and how I try to show your job in the exhibition, because even I use the text you sent me. I told before, I don't want to tell too much. I want only to say a few things, and I want that your small text and your image explain everything, because I don't believe that it's necessary. This meeting is to talk about this. It's about your job, your approach, many things. But I believe that when you do an exhibition about one graphic artist, one illustrator, comic book artist, whatever you name it, you don't need to think. You don't need to write and to tell too much. Sometimes it's only with the name, if the illustration or the comic have a name, and the date and the technique. You don't need to do anything more, because you told this. Sometimes you go to see a movie and you have one interpretation, and you read one interview with the director, and the director have a totally different approach and say, well, the different uh, or the screenwriter, when he drew the screenwriter, he wrote his thing about that, and your interpretation is totally different. At last, that's the thing. Uh, I use always the same sentence. Imagine you are someone like Truman in the Truman Show. You are in front of everyone, in that case, in front of the Finnish audience. Do you want to say something? You don't want to do apport anything more, or you say everything you want, and now the next step is invite to the Finnish uh, people that see your job in the exhibition and in the social media. Now is the tour when you have the opportunity to see whatever you want, even to
Okay.
say enough.
Uh, I just want to say thank you for having me, and thank you for your interest in my job and Spanish authors, because we have really good authors, really good illustration, really good professionals, a
Yes.
bit mistreated, but very good. And I hope you like what I do. I hope you like my illustrations. I cannot do anything about it. I won't put pretty words around it to convince you, but I really, really hope you like them. And if you like to draw or you like to do anything, just, I don't know, just spend some time doing it, have fun, and you'll get better at it. You will. And I think that's it.
Good. Well, thank you from accept my offer. Thank you from your help, for your time, from sending information from the previous meeting. And I hope you like my approach, and I hope this job and all the people around this job help to you in any way possible. And I invite to the audience to check your job in the social media and in many different places. And I hope someone from Finland understand you are the right person to illustrate some fairy tale book, something like.
And keep an eye on the video game and video
Yes, no,
Operation
no,
High Jump.
I
Keep
really
an
like,
eye on it because
I really like the topic. When you say me, no, I'm working in a, but you don't tell me
yeah,
anything.
I'm
I
working.
say, wow, I really like the.
Yeah, he has an amazing style, and yeah, I've been trying to work hard to, because I have to learn a lot. Still, I'm on it, but yeah, he has an amazing art, and well, I'm very glad to be there.
No, no, and I know I am sure that you are really enjoy and you're really proud of your job. And please, because in the web page of the event you have all the information about Lorena's job, and in the virtual exhibition there are more information too. I invite to the Finnish, not only the Finnish people, because I know that this is possible to see for wherever, and you use one language that understand in every place of the world, not
Well,
only.
I hope they understand me.
No, no, you, no,
Sorry
you don't,
about
no,
the
no, you don't
accent.
need to
But
use, you don't need to use too many words. That is the good thing. You know who you are, you know what you do, and you know how the market and the real world work. And this is quite nice. You don't need to use too many sentence and too many and use wonderful words or things like that. No, you know who you are. That is quite nice, and it's really important in actually when the people they are try to be the avatars, know the real person that are behind. And you don't need to explain too much. But it's we spend much more than 1 hour talking about, and
oh
you
yeah.
say a lot of things. I don't need to push too much. I say a few things, and you continue, you continue, you continue, you continue, and I am sure that, and I we try to do the best in a different language. I know for you it's different, like for me, because unfortunately, my Finnish is not really good. I understand a few, but I don't know how to reply. And I use English much more than you. But before we began, I am sure, because I told with you before, yeah, you know how to. Because even when you speak in your language, you have exactly the same approach. You don't use too many adjectives. You don't need.
No, I understand in Spanish and English. I have
Exactly.
the same tone. I just
Exactly. No,
speak
no,
pretty much
exactly.
the
And
same. Nothing
uh,
changed there.
no, I think you in some way today you try to explain more things that because people here, because you understand that your audience is not from Spain, and when you talk with me the first time, there are many things you don't need to explain, because we are from the same country, and our experience in some way are similar. No, you try to explain to someone that they don't have any idea how the things work in Spain, how the things work, and you told much more about this. But it's true, your approach is exactly the same, because you are realistic with who you are. And I think this is the best lesson that someone received today. That be understand who you are, understand what do you want to do, and try to do the best. And you don't never know what happened tomorrow, but at last it's good to go to the bed with this feeling that, hey, I really like the things I do, and I'm very proud, and I try to be much better professional tomorrow than today. And I think this is the best lesson. And you are really good in that. If you have the opportunity to teach in one moment, you are a really good teacher.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I
Yes.
would like that too.
Yes, because you don't want to sell something not is that you don't want to sell your avatar. You want to sell Lorena Azpiri with your background, with your experience, with the shadow of your father behind you, but your father was a different author in a different area with a different experience, with a different background and totally different style. You, I understand because I know your father too, that if you live with someone like him, you have some influence, but you try to be your own. You try to create your own world, your different approach, and is for me this is important when you want to teach someone, not to be the person you do not are. You want to be someone realistic, and the people when you put in someone that want to learn something need something realistic, no the the naive way of life is wonderful in the movies, but not in the real world. And you are not naive. You are optimistic in some way, but you know how the things work. You know how the machines work, and you teach how the machine work in a different approach, maybe like me, but you know how the machines work. And for that reason, I really believe that you will be a really good teacher. To
Thank you.
and I hope someone understand the thing and someone offer to you to be a teacher in the near future, because you are really good in that area. And for me, I learned so much about many things today. And it's not the first time we talk, but I learned so much about many things today. And I am a little bit much more older than you, and it's nice when you do these kind of things and you put in front of someone that at last you are someone like a normal audience and you learn a lot of things. And I'm very grateful and thank you very much from your time, your effort, and your how you believe that it's good to do the things.
My pleasure. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much from everyone. I hope you enjoy like I enjoy, and we will meet in a next virtual meeting from this event when you want to do. Bye bye, and please take care and stay safe because we actually were in a pandemic situation, not like 1 year ago, but we live again in a pandemic situation. And please take care of yourself and stay safe. And bye bye.